Mr. President, yesterday you heard me talk about the Chinese Exclusion Act and how our policy was directed towards one ethnic group, and the result of that was an apology and an embarrassment to our state and our nation. Today I'm here with resolution to call for the end of deportations and ask that the President act now, that he expand his program referred to as deferred action, that he expand that program to all immigrant families who are not engaged in serious criminal activity. As you know, Mr. President, you've worked with me on the California DREAM Act. You know we've passed the Trust Act here in California, and most recently we had a glorious day in which we signed legislation with our governor to issue driver's licenses to California immigrants. We respect the legislative process, but when that process doesn't work, it's a call for leadership. And we know that Congress has closed this session, has again failed to take action on this matter. It's a matter that impacts 11 million families directly, and specifically 2 million families have been deported or have had their family members deported. Over 500,000 of those families have U.S.-born children, and so as a result, we are either giving them the option of foster care or an option of a de facto deportation of U.S.-born citizens. This is atrocious and unacceptable, Mr. President. And so we're here today to ask that our President, President Barack Obama, stop the deportations now, that he listen to the 29 congressional leaders and countless community leaders who have asked him to stop the deportations, and that he provides a comprehensive deferred action program now. This is not the man that I campaigned for in Texas, in Nevada, in California. This is not the man that we had such high hopes for as the champion of immigrants. Sadly, he has become the champion of deportations, as over 2 million members of our society have been deported, and we call for an end to those deportations now and comprehensive deferred action now. Mr. President, I thank you for your time, and colleagues, I thank you for your attention.
Thank you. You know what I'd like to do, Mr. Cedillo? I'd like to right now defer to Mr. Price.
Thank you, Mr. President. I stand with my colleague and others who are calling for much needed immigration reform. The numbers don't lie. As my colleague suggested, today we're seeing record high numbers of deportations, even though many of those being deported pose no criminal threats. And these actions are just unnecessarily breaking up families, creating a negative economic impact on those families and the broader community, and it's just not a fair way to proceed. We're urging our colleagues in Washington to stop penalizing innocent people with their inaction. Many of those persons live in the 9th District. And so we do support to expand the Deferred Action Program to all undocumented residents until they bring us the kind of comprehensive immigration reform I think that we deserve, that the nation deserves, and that is necessary. It's also fitting that we vote on this resolution today, which is United Nations International Day of Migrants. And again, we know that migration helps to make our country strong, rich, and brave. And indeed, our community today is populated by hundreds of thousands of immigrants representing immigrant communities from around this world. And so, again, when we talk about cultural diversity, ethnic diversity, no place epitomizes that more than Los Angeles, and we should certainly want to support the kind of positive, progressive programs at the local, state, and federal level that are going to be respectful to our families, respectful to our communities, and that stop penalizing those who are innocent of any wrongdoing. So I urge support of this resolution, Mr. President.
Thank you. Mr. Huizar. And then, Mr. Cedillo, we will go to the public comment, but let's take care of the members. Mr. Weezer.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Mr. Cedillo, for bringing this to our attention and to continue to raise the voice that we need comprehensive immigration reform. But even if we're not going to, if Congress is going to fail to act on that, at least we could do things that will help mitigate the impacts that it has on a number of immigrants. You know, my family came to this country in the early 1970s. At that time, we had federal laws that permitted that if one of your family members was born in the United States, that all family members would get their green cards. I think that spoke to the family values that this country believes in unifying families, keeping families together. That's what America is all about. But today, if a family comes here, that person who is born here is the only U.S. citizen. Everyone else can be and are being deported. This action today is simply asking that until we get comprehensive immigration reform that fixes that broken system, that fixes a system that is un-American and does not do anything but break families apart, let's do something to fix that. Let's expand the Deferred Action Program until we get comprehensive immigration reform. This action today is a continuous action that we have to continue to raise our voices, tell Congress and America that we will not give up, we will not fall asleep until we get comprehensive immigration reform, but we need to fix those things that are abhorrent, they're un-American and unacceptable. And I want to thank the advocates who are here. Thank you so much, because many of you who are here in the audience, you continue to do that for us. Muchísimas gracias. Adelante.
Thank you very much, Mr. Weezer. And first I want to ask Father Richard Estrada, as well as with you is
Angela Zambrano.
Please, if you would, for the microphone so I can call your card.
My name is Father Richard Estrada. I'm a Catholic priest. I've been working with immigrants for 35 years. Today I come with the Protect Our Family campaign. We're members of different organizations that you probably all know. For many, many, many years we've been working on immigration reform. And we're doing the right thing if we're going to pass this resolution. It's wrong. Simple as that. Morally wrong. Children should not be separated from their families. Never. It's not good for families. It's not good for communities and for a nation. It's a shame. You're doing the right thing by passing this resolution. The same thing with the treatment of our brothers and sisters that are held in detention. It is disgusting to know about what's going on in the detention centers, how they're being treated. More and more people are dying in the desert. That should not be. So we're here today, and we're very proud of our brother Cedillo and Mr. Price, champions in the immigrant rights movement. And I urge you, pray for you, that you pass this resolution. God does not want us to continue to let our government separate children from their families.
Thank you, Father. And Angela Zambrano,
Yes.
next speaker.
Good morning, buenos dias, Mr. President, members of the City Council. My name is Angela Zambrano, and I am here to speak on behalf of the Protect Our Families campaign. Many members are here today in support of the resolution. Today, throughout the world, we celebrate the United Nations International Migrants Day. The commemoration of International Migrant Day is a very appropriate day to join Councilmember Gil Cedillo and Councilmember Karen Price to call on President Obama to stop deportations and to expand Deferred Action Program to all undocumented immigrants with no serious criminal history, since Congress failed to pass immigration reform this year. Every day, more than 1,200 people are being deported, causing great pain and suffering to thousands of people and families, and a great social and economic harm to our communities. In the past 5 years, President Obama has deported over 2 million people the largest number of deportees that any president in the history of the United States. The deportations are causing great harm to our communities, especially young children. In the last 2 years, 23% of the people who were deported had U.S. citizen children. Many children are left to foster care, and many parents who are deported have lost communications with their children. The forced separation of families is cruel. It is a cruel and humiliating act. President Obama can stop this humanitarian crisis now by expanding the Deferred Action Program. Please support.
Thank you
Thank you.
very much.
Okay, let's prepare to vote. Well, Mr. Clerk.
Yes, sir. Pardon me, sir. This is a two-vote item, first on whether to substitute or not, and then on the remaining item.
So the first vote is on substitution?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's prepare to vote on that. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
Okay, now we'll actually vote on the motion itself as amended or as the substitute motion. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.